On Rumble. Good morning. Welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. I'm Alexander. You, of course, are you. Thank you so much for coming in. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here shortly. Today is Friz Day, aka Friday, March 27, 2026. The time marches on. This show is about interesting and important events that have happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with the year 196 BC. The Rosetta Stone and others like it were inscribed with the Decree of Memphis, proclaiming the rule of the king of Ptolemaic Egypt, Ptolemy V. And we covered that yesterday. 1309 here, Pope Clement V excommunicated Venice in its population after Venice seized the capital city of Ferrara. It says here from the other source, Pope Clement V imposed excommunication and interdiction on Venice, and a general prohibition of all commercial intercourse with Venice, which had seized Ferrara, a papal fiefdom. 1329, Pope John the 22nd issued the papal bull In Agro Dominico, condemning the writings of German mystic Meister Eckhart as heretical. 1351, Battle of the 30, we covered this yesterday here. The 30 English and 30 Breton knights and squires squared off using swords, maces, lances, and daggers. This was considered one of the most chivalrous battles in history. Nice. 1513, Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon and his expedition first sighted Florida. They reached the northern end of the Bahamas on their first voyage to Florida, in which they saw it. 1613, the first English child born in Canada at Cooper's Cove, Newfoundland, to Nicholas Guy. 1638, the first of 4 destructive Calabrian earthquakes struck southern Italy, measuring magnitude 6.8 and assigned to a Mercalli intensity of 11. It killed between 10,000 to 30,000 people. That's quite a discrepancy there. 20,000 in question. 1642, sixth patriarch of Moscow and all of Russia, Joseph, took office an unusual 18 months after his predecessor passed away. For a year and a half, roughly, 612-18, there was no ruler of Russia. That's weird. 1668, English King Charles II granted royal charter, giving control of Bombay, India, to the English East India Company. 1708, James Francis Edward Stuart, Prince of Wales, and pretender to the great English throne, British throne, whatever, James III fled to Dunkirk after a failed invasion attempt. 1713 now, Spain lost Minorca and Gibraltar to Britain under the Treaty of Utrecht. And I wonder if the Great Rock of Gibraltar and all that area is still under British control. 1782, Charles Watson Wentworth, 2nd Marquis of Rockingham, became Prime Minister of Great Britain and began negotiations to end the American War of Independence. Alright. 1790, the modern shoelace with an aglet, patented in England by Harvey Kennedy. And that's what these little doohickeys are. These are called aglets. Before that, I guess, it was all just random, frayed stuff like that. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you got in just in time to not hear about a shoelace fact.
Oh, no, you got to repeat. The shoelace fact?
The modern shoelace in 1790 with an aglet patented in England by Harvey Kennedy. An aglet is the little things at the end.
Hard thing.
Yeah.
Give me the date.
1790.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't even know they had shoes then.
Of course they had shoes.
Little laces.
1794 here, the Naval Act of 1794 was signed by President George Washington, authorizing the building of 6 frigates and establishing a permanent U.S. Navy.
Whoa.
Gotta start somewhere. 6 frigates doesn't sound like a lot, but it's better than no frigates.
Yeah.
1814, battle at Horseshoe Bend during the War of 1812. General Andrew Jackson defeated the Red Sticks as part of the Creek Indian tribe near Dadeville, Alabama. A lot of people don't realize. Well, that was the name of their tribe. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, but the British hired a lot of natives to fight against us during the War of 1812.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was kind of like a little bit of a repeat of the French and Indian Wars, because
why would the Indians?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, but
I mean, at the end of the day, the British are going to have their boot on their neck just as much as we had it.
More.
But, well, they didn't know that.
Yeah.
So all they knew was the here and now. There's a bunch of white people on my land, so I'm going to use these other white people to help me get rid of these white people. And whatever tomorrow brings, tomorrow brings.
But they weren't getting rid of them. They were just
under new management.
Want to keep them in control. Yeah.
Well, I mean...
Okay, it doesn't make sense to me, but
well,
who knows?
when you utilize an ignorant people, you know, I mean, I'm not...
They weren't ignorant.
Well, I mean, like, as far as who the British really were.
Oh.
You know, like, they don't, like...
Okay.
You know, like, they were... Up until, like, what was it, the 1400s? You know, granted, this is 300 years after that, but still, you know, like, they're cut off from the rest of the world. They don't know, you know, military tactics, you know, how awful the white man, you know, will be, and all that stuff to themselves.
They have a good idea of it. They lost their land.
Yeah. Moving on up to 1836 here, the first Mormon temple was dedicated in Kirtland, Ohio, and we have an image of that. So, yeah.
So not in Utah. Utah came later.
You know, they were exiled all to Utah.
Yeah.
Like that's why they went to Salt Lake and everything, because nobody wanted to settle there, and that's the only land that they could go to without being probably killed off. So
I thought they kind of discovered it on their way and said this would be a good place to be. I mean, you're out in the nowhere land.
not entirely sure. I just know that they were chased off, and that's where they ended up.
Yeah, they had to go. Yeah.
1836, Mexican Army executed over 425 Texan Army prisoners of war in Goliad, Republic of Texas. That sounds like a war crime right there. On the orders of General Antonio de Santa Anna, or Lopez de Santa Anna, it's the same Santa Anna that besieged and destroyed the Alamo. The Mexican Army massacred 342 Texan Army POWs at Goliad, Texas.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah. Yep. Well, once again, you know, they're, you know, xenophobic is going to be xenophobic. 1841, a first U.S. steam fire engine was tested in New York City. Oh, I do have a picture for that. I just so happen to have it. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Steam-fired engine. That's kind of awesome.
And actually, it's really interesting. There's a lot of inventions and patents and things today. So like, I'm going to be like for a short period of time. There's going to be so many things.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we're already in it here. 1848. So we already talked about the fire engine. Now 7 years later, John Parkin Paynard originated medicated adhesive plaster. So this is the stuff
What
that
is that?
that's the stuff that that they used to put on for bandages. Before we had
adhesive.
Yeah, like this is the adhesive stuff. So you put it on the thing and then you put it on yourself. And then now we just have the easy, you know, peel the strip off of the Band-Aid. But before that, they didn't come pre-adhesive. You had to, you know, like everything was a do-it-yourself before.
So the invention of that adhesive.
Yeah. 1849, Joseph Couch patented steam-powered percussion rock drill. So this thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, steam. Well, they discovered what steam can do.
Yeah.
They're putting it to all kinds of uses. This is pretty cool, actually.
It is. Yeah, and this is it's telling me to look this up. If anybody wants to see, they have a tripod mounted one. It looks like to dig down.
Straight down.
And then they have
crack a rock or whatever it is. Yeah.
This is the one I use for mining and everything. So that's awesome. 1855, Canadian geologist Abraham Gessner patented kerosene.
Jeez.
Yeah, so much is happening. And hold on, one more. 1860, M.L. Byron patented a covered gimlet screw with a T-handle, more popularly known as a corkscrew. Okay, here's the guy with his kerosene here.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then we have a bunch of different.
Until then, I guess it was just candles, huh?
Yeah. And we have a bunch of different examples of corkscrews and everything.
What the first one looks like is what I'd like to see.
I think this one.
You think?
I mean, this looks like the simplest one. It's just you just take a nail and then you put a screw on here, and because if you look at all the other ones, they're a much deeper corkscrew. Like that's for digging in deep. This looks like just a normal screw with a wooden nail on it. My favorite nickname for those though are eye gougers. You know. 1863, American Confederate President Jefferson Davis called for a day of fasting and prayer. That's interesting. 1866, U.S. Andrew Reckon patented the urinal. So here we go again. And according to this figure, I looked it up, this is a headrest. So if you ever get tired while standing up and peeing, you can just lay your...
That's a long leak.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if I want to put my forehead on something that everybody else been leaning into.
At the same, I was gonna bring that up because if you're that tired, just go sit down. Sit on a normal toilet.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing. Oh well, how many butts have been in there? Well, put down some, the little paper, the seat cover, or whatever. That's a lot easier than holding a paper there,
Just take a leak and then go take a nap.
Yeah. 1866, we got U.S. President Andrew Johnson vetoed Civil Rights Bill. It later became the 14th Amendment. So, he vetoed the Civil Rights Act of 1866. His veto was overridden by Congress, and the bill passed into law on April 9th.
That guy sounds like an ass.
Yeah. What was his name again?
Didn't recognize the
Andrew
president.
Johnson. Huh. Andrew Johnson. 1871, first international rugby union match. Scotland beats England 1-0 at Rayburn Place, Edinburgh. And we have a picture of that right there. So the first international rugby football match. That's cool. I hope this is an original photograph. Look at that barn way in the back. This almost looks fake. Huh. What are you going to say?
Overexposed is what it is.
1879, longest championship fight, 136 rounds.
Whoa.
Is that boxing or something?
Gotta be.
It has to be. 1881, rioting took place in Basingstoke, Hampshire, in England, to protest against the Salvation Army daily vociferous. Vociferous? How do you pronounce this? That's a weird word. Promotion of rigid temperance. Well, I'm going to look up this word here. Vociferous. Expressing or characterized by vehement opinions, loud and forceful. So the Salvation Army was banging their drum about something, and these guys didn't like it. 1884, first long-distance telephone call from Boston to New York.
Ooh.
Yeah, that used to be considered long distance.
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah. 1884 as well, a mob in Cincinnati, Ohio, United States, attacked members of a jury which had returned a verdict of manslaughter at what was seen as a clear case of murder. Over the next few days, the mob would riot and eventually destroy the courthouse.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Why would they let them get that far? 1886, Geronimo, the Apache warrior, surrendered to the U.S. Army, ending the main phase of the Apache Wars. You know, the end of an era there. Good old Geronimo. And, like, you know, the whole, the mysticism behind him and everything?
Probably don't.
Is, like, apparently during fights or whatever, whenever he, like, charged into combat, he screamed his own name. You know, Geronimo! Or something. And then that's why it became a thing. Like, you know, when you jump out of airplanes, you know, you scream Geronimo or something.
Or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. Like, that's my understanding of that origin, yeah. 1889, Emilio Aguinaldo led Filipino forces for the only time during the Philippine-American War, the Battle of Marialo River. And initially, I just, like, the only time? Like, was that a short war? Did he get captured? What happened? But we will be talking about this in a couple of years here. 1900, recognizing that the war in South Africa is going to take a major commitment, I believe this has to be a Boer War, the Second Boer War, Parliament passed the War Loan Act calling for £35 million to support the fight against the Boers. There we go.
Yeah.
It is a Boer War.
So that's rebelling against the whites.
Yep. In 1901, Philippine-American War, Emilio Aguinaldo, leader of the First Philippine Republic, was captured by the Americans. So there you go, 2 years later, on the same exact... That's interesting. He led forces for the only time, and then 2 years later, on the same day, he was captured. That's kind of weird. 1906, founding of the Alpine Club of Canada in Winnipeg, Manitoba. What is that club about? The Alpine Club, is it like a climbing club or something? And this is telling me about Elizabeth Parker for some reason. I don't know who the hell that is. Alpine Club of Canada. What is this? Go away, cookies. I don't want to challenge myself. I'm lazy. Okay, the Canadian Alpine Journal has been published annually since 1907. The Gazette. Okay, so this is Alpine Club of Canada, a national non-profit, non-governmental mountaineering organization founded in 1906 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Yeah, as I just read here. The first president. Okay, so this is a climbing club.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to add this in the underbar. This sounds pretty cool. What was this again? Alpine Club. So if you want to read more up on that, these links will be in the underbar section.
It still exists.
That is a good question. Well, I mean, there's a website. If it doesn't exist,
true.
They wouldn't be paying to have a website up.
True.
At least I wouldn't think.
I didn't know if you were looking at history or whatever.
Well, I mean, it is history, but it's also an active website. 1910, fire during a barn dance in, oh goodness, Oku Rito I'm gonna send this to Kaya. Hungary.
Oh.
The nation of Hungary. Where is he? There he is. I'm sending that to Kaio there. Killed 312 people. So a fire during a barn dance. Wow. Like, I guess they couldn't get out or something, or like how how do you get 312 deaths in a barn? I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of the whole thing. You know?
Well, like you say, if they can't get out, you're in a building.
1912, U.S.
And how fast does that go up? Is there hay and everything in there?
Yeah, very true. 1912, U.S. First Lady Helen Huron Taft and the Viscountess Chindia, wife of the Japanese ambassador, planted 2 Yoshino cherry trees on the bank of the tidal basin in Washington, D.C. The Potomac River, the origin of the National Cherry Blossom Festival.
Now they have a whole thing. It's supposedly beautiful.
They actually took that all out a couple years ago.
Took all the cherry trees out?
Yep, it's all gone.
Why?
Because of some kind of... something involving the Potomac was flooding or something, or they were old. I don't know. But I remember a couple years back... Hold on a second. Cherry trees removed from Potomac. That's sad. We were over there.
Well, it wasn't the right time of year.
Oh.
You have to go in the spring.
Removals of DC's cherry blossoms reflect troubling future for coastal forests. Yeah, because more than 1.8. The trees, which were given to the United States in 1912 by the mayor of Tokyo as a symbol of international friendship, blossom with pink, yada yada. But the trees also serve as a prime example of the wide-reaching effects of climate change on forest health. More of this bullshit.
Come on.
So nearly 160 of the 3,700 cherry trees around the tidal basin will be chopped down starting in May of 2024 in preparation for a $113 million 3-year project to rebuild and raise the seawall around the Jefferson Memorial. Okay, so they're
doing something else.
They might be bringing it back, and they didn't take them all out, just 100 something.
Yeah.
So, but still, like, you know,
it sounds like to build a new wall.
Yeah.
Retaining wall. Okay.
We're gonna build a wall. It's gonna be a cherry wall, the best cherry wall in all the land. I tell you that. No, it says here, Kaio. He says, Fupos, for whatever.
Fupa or
from the weird word that I tried to read earlier.
Yeah.
Moving on up, 1914, the first successful non-direct blood transfusion was performed by Dr. Albert Huston in Brussels. That's
non-direct. What's non-direct?
Well, you're not going out out of one body into another directly. You're taking it out, storing it, and then putting it back in. Non-direct. 1915, Typhoid Mary, real name Mary Milan, was arrested and returned to quarantine on North Brother Island, New York, after spending 5 years evading health authorities and causing several further outbreaks of typhoid. Dude, what a selfish bitch.
So that was really named after somebody.
Oh, yeah.
No idea.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, Typhoid Mary was a real living, breathing human being.
Yes, I know
but
now.
she was the first healthy carrier of a disease ever identified in the U.S. She was put in quarantine for the second time, where she would remain for the rest of her life. Yeah, no, she was very selfish.
That's what's crazy about typhoid, is you can be a carrier but not be sick.
Yeah, no, asymptomatic.
Yeah.
1918, Moldova and Bessarabia joined Romania. The National Council of Bessarabia proclaimed union with the Kingdom of Romania. Cool. 1924, Canada recognized the USSR. This is a bad move. 30, first U.S. radio broadcast from a ship at sea. Wireless. Charlie Chaplin, 1 year later, received France's Distinguished Legion of Honor. That's cool. 31 as well, John McGraw said night baseball will not catch on. How wrong he was. Absolutely wrong. 33, Farm Credit Administration was authorized in the U.S.
We can catch a Dodgers game tonight.
Oh, you want to? I heard on the radio, like, people are going crazy. What's going on with the Dodgers? Like, are they here now or something, or?
Well, they're always here. What do you mean? Oh, they're, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, are they playing, or, you know?
Yeah, no, the season started yesterday.
Yeah, because, like, I was listening to the radio on my way back, and I don't even remember what I was. Oh, I was getting you gas.
No.
And
so it was opening day, is what you heard.
Well, like, I was just on some radio, and but it wasn't about the game. It was you know, I don't listen to all that crap. I just listen, but it was like K-Rock or whatever I was listening to or something, and it's just like 30 seconds of 1,001 people like Dodgers, let's go Dodgers. I'm like, shut up about the Dodgers. I want to listen to music.
Yeah.
You know. Oh.
It was opening day.
I guess so. 1933. Now this one is very interesting. The primary source says Japan leaves League of Nations. Okay, well I marked that because that's an eyebrow raiser. Why would they
left? Does it say leave?
They left.
Okay.
Japan left.
Yeah, I got you.
Leaves the League of Nations left.
Yeah.
You know, From the other source, it says Japanese invasion of Manchuria. Japan left the League of Nations after it approved the Lighton report that ruled in favor of China. Why would our primary source not mention anything about that? I mean, they say that they left the League of Nations. Why wouldn't they tell us why?
Well, they could have. It would have been valuable to have a little more information for sure.
But at the same time, you know, like, this source is woke, and, you know, anything that's non-white, they want to protect, you know, so...
They invaded, and then they didn't like the fact that the League of Nations scolded them, so to speak, because that's all they could do.
No,
So they left.
No, Japan left the League of Nations after it approved the Lighton. So, like, they left before.
What?
After they approved the Lighton report that ruled in favor of China. So they didn't...
they invaded China.
Yeah. Yes.
And the League of Nations didn't like it. So they left the League of Nations.
Oh, okay. And maybe this Lighton report is... but what I'm saying is, why didn't the primary source mention any of that? Almost as if they're trying...
It would have been nice.
Because, you know, to me it seems like, you know, it's a woke move. They don't want to make the Orient look bad, so they abstain from further information that might make another, you know, ethnicity look bad. You know, all that sort of crap. 1933, polythene, just weird, discovered by Reginald Gibson and Eric William Fawcett. Polythene. I want to say polyethylene, but it's not the right one. Polythene. What is polythene? Polyester? Like, polythene. Resin. Okay, it's some kind of... Okay. Oh, here we go. It is the most commonly produced plastic. It is a polymer primarily used for packaging, plastic bags. Okay, so polythene plastic.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
1937, Feyenoord Stadion, home ground of Dutch football club Feyenoord Rotterdam and nicknamed De Kuip, opened after 2 years of construction. 38, the Battle of Taizhang took place during the Second Sino-Japanese War, resulting in several weeks later in the war's first major Chinese victory over Japan. All right. About time. In the oppression. 41, Adolf Hitler signed Directive 27, assaulting Yugoslavia. 41 as well, Britain leased defense bases in Trinidad to the U.S. for 99 years. Yeah, in which that lease is actually going to be coming up here pretty soon. So, 41 plus
15 years.
99 equals 40, yeah. So 2040. 1941, Yugoslavian coup got rid of pro-German Prince Paul. During World War II, Yugoslav Air Force officers toppled the pro-Axis government in a bloodless coup. Good. 42, Japan forces Java to use Tokyo time 1.5 hours forward. They want to have them on their same time there. 1942 as well, during the Holocaust, Nazi Germany and Vichy France began the deportation of 65,000 Jews from Drancy internment camp to German extermination camps. Ew. 43, during World War II as well, Dutch resistance fighters burned and bombed the Amsterdam Civil Registry Office as an effort to destroy records and prevent the Nazis from identifying Jews and others marked for persecution. About 15% of records were destroyed, and 12 of the 19 known participants were tried and executed by Nazi officers, or occupiers. Well, you know, they died so others may live. And let's not forget the 12 of 19. You know, rest in peace, Godspeed. 44, or actually 43, the Battle of Komandorski Islands and the Aleutian Islands. The battle began when the U.S. Navy forces intercepted Japanese attempting to reinforce a garrison at Kiska. So we did have Japanese boots on sovereign U.S. land. Or actually, no, Alaska wasn't a state until after that.
Oh, it was after that, but still, it was our land. I think we'd long since bought it from
Russia. Yeah. 44, 2,000 Jews were murdered in Kaunas, Lithuania. And we also have 40 Jewish policemen in Riga, Latvia, ghetto, were shot by the Gestapo.
But I do remember, and maybe it was last year going over this very thing, that I was so surprised that the Japanese actually did invade Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me. It must have been on your show.
Yeah. We also have 44 children's. Akitan Nazis collect all the Jewish children of Lovno. That's terrifying. And transport number 70 departed Drancy in France internment camp, taking 1,000 French Jews to Auschwitz extermination camp in Nazi German occupied Poland. 480 people were killed upon arrival. Approximately 152 survived the war. Scary. So, and actually, you know the term lucky cigarette? Like, I don't have any cigarettes to showcase, but like, you know, like anybody out there watching, sometimes somebody, you know, takes a cigarette and flips it upside down. You know, they say that's their lucky cigarette. It came out of, I believe, the Holocaust. Because if you were intern, be it, you know, a Jew, a gypsy, mentally handicapped, physically, and whatever, you know, it wasn't just the Jews that the Nazis were going after. They were going after a proverbial buffet of various peoples, but the Jews were the primary target. But if you can get through a whole packet of cigarettes and then you have one left, that's your lucky cigarette. You're lucky. You're alive. You've been able to get through a pack. You know, so. 45, during World War II, Operation Starvation, the aerial mining of Japanese ports and waterways began. And then also Argentina declares war on the Axis powers as a tag-along of the secondary article. Could have been its own article, but... Loons Time! 1948, just 11 days after being released from prison, jazz singer Billie Holiday played in front of a sold-out crowd at Carnegie Hall, New York City. Wow, from prison to Carnegie. That's a heck of a jump there. 1950, Netherlands recognized the People's Republic of China. 1952, Singing in the Rain. A musical comedy film directed by Gene Kelly and Stanley Donen and starring Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds. Premiered at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Now, you want to know something interesting about that?
What?
The whole Singing in the Rain thing? They didn't use water.
They didn't?
They used milk.
So they could see it on camera better.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, like the milk picked it up and everything. So, whenever you watch that, you know, the Singing in the Rain video, just imagine how horrible that place must have smelt. You know, when they had to, you know, clean it up and everything.
Yeah, how sticky are you with milk all over you, too?
Yeah, you're getting milk all over you and all that jazz.
Gene Kelly was a renowned dancer also. He was number 2 behind Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire was the king of dance movies.
Well, you want to know why Fred Astaire was the king of dance?
Why?
Because even his name contains steps. Astaire. I mean, like, you know, he's always putting his best foot forward.
Please, just go on. Move quick.
1952,
Next.
Sun Records of Memphis began releasing records. Okay.
Yeah, Sun Records. What year was that?
55...
Okay.
52.
Okay.
1952. 1957, 29th Academy Awards around the world in 80 days. Ingrid Bergman and Yul Brynner won. Here we go again to not saying Best Actor, Best Actress, and all that jazz. 58, CBS Labs announced new stereophonic records. We also have Havana Hilton open in Cuba, later HQ of Fidel Castro. Oh, gee, thanks, Hilton, for building a frickin', you know, despot, a palace. 58 as well, Nikita Khrushchev became Soviet premier, as well as the first secretary of the Communist Party, and the other source says chairman of the Council of Ministers of the Soviet Union. How many titles does this motherfucker have? 61, black demonstrators in Charleston staged ride-ins on streetcars. And 62, Archbishop Rummel ended race segregation in New Orleans Catholic schools. Good. 63 as well, Richard Beeching issued a report known as the Beeching Acts, calling for significant cuts to the UK rail network. I don't like the sound of that. 64, great train robbers sentenced to a total of 307 years behind bars. Well, don't rob trains, is what I can say. So, 64, the Great Alaska Earthquake at 9.2 magnitude and resulting tsunami killed 139 people in the largest U.S. earthquake and second largest ever recorded. Other source also calls it the Good Friday earthquake. The most powerful earthquake recorded in North American history at a magnitude of 9.2 struck south central Alaska, killing 125 people and inflicting massive damage to the city of Anchorage.
I remember. That was early 60s, right?
68. 64. 64.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. That's still technically early 60s, although more of a mid-60. 68 here, though, Japanese Trade and Cultural Center, the Japan Center, was dedicated in San Francisco. Sounds pretty cool. I'd like to visit that. We also have Suharto officially succeeded Sukarno as president of Indonesia. Remember the whole by any means necessary thing?
No.
Like, okay, let's see here. First president of Indonesia, Sukarno. Let's see here. Where is it? By any means necessary. It's one of these articles here. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. March 11th. So, like, you know, this happened. What is it? What's 11 minus 27?
Well, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Indonesia President Sukarno signed the Superismar Order, giving Army Commander Lieutenant General Suharto authority to do whatever he, quote, deemed necessary, end quote, to restore order.
And then he ended up being the Prime Minister.
Yeah, whoops.
Whoa, he did whatever is necessary.
Yeah, 1969, Black Academy of Arts and Letters formed in Boston. That sounds pretty cool. 69 as well, launch of Mariner 7 flew 2,190 miles above southern Mars. 70, Ringo Starr released his first solo album, Sentimental Journey, a collection of pre-rock standards. 71, David Henniker and John Taylor's musical Charlie Girl closed at the Adelphi Theatre in London after 2,202 performances. Wow, that's incredible. We also have the Alliance Party of Northern Ireland, APNI, held its first annual conference in the Ulster Hall in Belfast. 365 days later, Adolph Rupp retired after 42 years of coaching University of Kentucky.
Yep.
That's a long career.
Yeah.
Ulster Vanguard organized industrial strike against the imposition of direct rule in Northern Ireland by Westminster. Free Ireland. Just free them already. 73, the 45th Academy Awards, The Godfather, Marlon Brando and Liza Minnelli won. Brando declined the Oscar for Best Actor to protest Hollywood's portrayal of Native Americans in film in a speech by activist Senshin Littlefeather. All right, that's cool. You know, the actors actually stepping up, you know, and honoring their words and everything. You know, that reminds me of, like, what was her name? Farrah Fawcett?
Well, I will give him this. He refused the honor of the Oscar.
Yeah.
That's way different than getting up on stage, taking it, and making a big-ass speech about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what he did is what all these actors and actresses should do. They shouldn't take something and then just vomit out a whole bunch of crap,
use
you know.
the platform for crap.
You're still, you know, you're getting what you want, and then you're just spewing nonsense. No, if you honestly believe, you know, what you say, then deny the award because it is a physical trophy of everything that you're opposed against. You know, and then that reminds me, like, what was her name, Farrah Fawcett or something? Like, we spoke about this a week or so ago, but she initially denied something, but then, you know, on something like this, but then like a week later she accepted it or something. It's like, wow, so you got to sit there and be like, you know, oh, look at me, I'm better than you, and then you still got your reward. Fuck you, you know. 1973, Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead was stopped for speeding and found in possession of LSD. Stupid.
Why is that not a surprise?
No. 75, construction.
Guitar player, though.
Yeah.
He's just great.
Yeah.
Deadheads.
Yeah. Well, the Grateful Dead. So.
Yeah, they're called Deadheads.
Yep. Right.
If you're a fan of them.
Oh, okay. So that was for the fans. Okay.
Yeah.
75, construction of the transatlantic pipeline system began. And in 76, Washington, D.C. Underground Metro opened to the public. Cool. So we've been on that.
Yes.
We took that to, like, I was a stupid, naive kid, and I wanted to walk to the cathedral, you know, but we took the tram and everything. And remember that one time, like, I wanted to walk through a park, and then you're like, no, we're not going to do it, we're going to get robbed?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. I have no idea where we're at, what the neighborhood's like, or anything.
It's really sad that, you know, like I was naive, but, like, that's the nation's capital. If any place should be crime-free, that should be it, you know?
Well, actually, it's pretty good now.
Yeah, they're cleaning it up now.
Now,
so.
He brought out the National Guard and really cleaned it up.
Yeah, did you hear that ICE is taking over for some TSA stuff?
Yeah, they're really helping the lines.
Yeah, good. About time we got some actual good, hardworking people in jobs, you know? 77, 583 people die in aviation's worst ever disaster when two Boeing 747s collide at Tenerife Airport in Spain. Yikes. Which, by the way, a little bit of a good news before I read what it says from the other article here about this story, but referring to the incident that happened a couple days ago, that plane that landed and it crashed into the fire truck.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, like one of the flight attendants, survived because she was in, like, you know, in their seat near the front, and the crash, she got ejected
300 feet.
300 feet, like, you know, and alive, you know,
and
like
yeah. She was in her seat.
Yeah. That's insane. Like, can you imagine being, like, thrown from an aircraft like that? Like, but anyway, yeah, from the other source here, it says the Tenerife airport disaster, two Boeing 747 airliners collided on a foggy runway at Tenerife in the Canary Islands, killing 583.
Oh.
All 248 on the KLM, and 335 on the Pan Am. 61 people survived on the Pan Am flight. This is the deadliest aviation accident in history. Let's hope it never gets broken.
Crashed on the ground.
Yeah. 79, U.S. Supreme Court ruled 8-1 that cops cannot randomly stop cars. Wonder who that one person was. Like, what the hell is your problem? Like, giving police the authority to just randomly stop cars. Because that's, to me, that makes it sound like he's trying to advocate for police to stop black people.
Well, that's a secondary issue.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah.
1980, here we go. Mount St. Helens became active after 123 years.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like we're going to be talking about that incident here soon.
We already did.
We are. Oh yeah, we did. Okay.
Just now.
Well, no, like the huge disaster.
Oh.
This is when it's after. No.
This is when it started.
It's
active.
active.
When it blew.
Yeah. What does it say here? Mount St. Helens in Washington.
It's showing it pretty well.
May 18th, 1980. So May. So it's coming up, 1980. March, April, May. So it's coming in a couple months here.
Yeah.
1981, The Blizzard of Oz, a debut solo album by English rock singer Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, was released in the United States. Yeah. 81, the Solidarity Movement in Poland staged a warning strike in which at least 12 million Poles walk off their jobs for 4 hours. That's the power.
Yeah.
The people are the power. People have got to exercise their power.
What was the name? Lech Walesa or whatever it is?
Oh, yeah.
The union leader?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Poland union leader. Like, Lech Walesa. There you go.
Walesa, yeah.
Yeah, Lech Walesa.
I got the Lech part, yeah.
Yeah.
Walesa.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is.
84, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Richmond Stilgo's rock musical Starlight Express opened at the Apollo Victoria Theatre in London's West End. And, like, apparently, because, like, this was a Family Guy. This was a bit in Family Guy. And according to people I've spoken to over the years, like the comments and everything,
Starlight Express.
Essentially, like this is the plot of the entire
Starlight
thing.
Express. Starlight Express.
He's just like
Starlight Express. Starlight Express. Starlight Express. Starlight Express. Starlight.
Apparently, that's the plot of that play. I haven't seen it.
Note here, please. What are they doing?
I don't know. 1984, beginning of the tanker war. Over the next 9 months, 44 ships, including Iranian, Iraqi, Saudi Arabian, and Kuwaiti tankers, were attacked by Iraqi or Iranian warplanes or damaged by mines. That sounds a little familiar. What's going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
And everything, which, now, did you hear Trump is straight up threatening to use nuclear weapons on Iran?
Haven't heard that.
Yeah, he said he told Iran, "Oh, you're gonna give up in 24 hours, or I'm gonna just start nuking you." Like, somebody's threatening nukes.
I'll find out.
Somebody's threatening nukes. I don't know, but like there's this whole thing that's going on. It's very weird. 1985, professional wrestler Hulk Hogan acquiesced to put interviewer Richard Bellizer in a hold, resulting in Bellizer passing out, hitting his head on the floor, and requiring 9 stitches. Bellizer sues Hogan for $5 million in damages for personal injury. They settle out of court, and Bellizer bought a home in France. What a sleaze piece of shit! Dude, that should have never been a thing.
Yeah.
Like, he went to Hogan, and then he bitched about what a pencil neck little bitch. Bellizer, you puss. 85, bus transporting school children from Vonro High School plunged into Westane Dam, Johannesburg, South Africa, killing 42. Didn't Hulk Hogan die recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, a year ago. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Less than a year. Probably late.
Yeah, less than a year. 85 as well, a bus transporting school children from Voronto High School plunged into Westine Dam, Johannesburg, South Africa, killing 42 people. Or, well, I guess kids.
Yeah.
Most,
Yeah.
unless one of them was a driver or something. I don't know how many.
They're all people.
We are now in AO's time, but I'm not going to read this one because it's not of note. We're going to move on up to 1990. A bus accidentally touched high voltage wires in Kangarboor, India. 21 deaths. Jeez. 90 as well. U.S. began broadcasting TV Marti in Cuba, did an effect to bridge the information blackout imposed by the Castro regime. But the other source says the United States began broadcasting anti-Castro propaganda in Cuba on TV Marti. So our primary source is pro-communist, and our secondary source is pro-truth. You know, because they didn't mention anything about it being propaganda. Like, they're trying to portray us as pro Castro. Because in an effort to bridge the information blackout imposed by the Castro regime.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. 91, NCAA banned University of Minnesota football team from postseason play in 92. Why?
They broke the rules. Probably recruiting rules, most likely.
Do you know that?
I know. I don't know this incident, but that's generally the problem.
92 Minnesota Golden Gophers football team.
Gophers.
Gophers. Oh, Gophers. Well, this is going to require some digging. Oh, here we go. They put sanctions on them due to multiple infractions. What are the infractions? I don't know. If anybody can let us know in the comments, that'd be great. Become part of history, and don't just witness it. Do we have any comments so far on the live stream? No. Okay, 90-91. Scotty Bowman inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame as a builder of the game. 93. Italian former minister and Christian democracy leader Giulio Andreotti was accused of mafia allegiance by the Tribunal of Palermo. Yikes.
Palermo.
Yeah, the island?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. So, anyway, 94. Sorry. The Eurofighter took its first flight in Manching, Germany. Looking up that aircraft right now. Sorry about that. Just all of a sudden, when you gotta sneeze, you gotta sneeze. Like the whole thing, when you gotta go, but this time it's coming out of the top part of you and not the bottom. So, this aircraft, though, that's a cool bus. Airbus, though. That's not a bus, that's a taxi.
Not an Airbus. What are you talking about?
It says Airbus Manching on the side.
That's a fighter jet.
Yes, I can see that, but it says Airbus on it. Does it not?
Yes, it does.
Like, I don't know what else to say. That's weird. Anyway, 95, 67th Academy Awards. Forrest Gump, Jessica Lange, and Tom Hanks won.
See, Tom Hanks was in the movie,
Yeah.
so it's best movie, best actor.
Yeah. And I gotta say, Forrest Gump is such a dreadful movie because it takes away, like, it basically, it's whitewashing black history. Like, one of the examples is when he apparently taught Elvis Presley the hip gyrations thing.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen the movie, right?
Yes,
You remember
of
that
course,
scene?
yes.
Well, we all know historically Elvis Presley learned that from the black community. But that's one example of this movie, Forrest Gump, rewriting, black history to be white history. Because, you have Forrest Gump, a little crippled white boy teaching, Elvis Presley the hip gyrations, when in reality
Well, this wasn't a documentary. It's a movie for entertainment.
It doesn't matter. Like,
To some degree, you're right. Now,
that's just one example. There's a lot more, and it's horrible. It is such a middle finger towards the black community and other cultures and whatnot. Forrest Gump is a disgusting movie.
now,
It really is.
I'll give you something that probably won't be too interesting to you. The boy that was in it, they suggested that Tom Hanks sit down and talk to him and see if they can get a dialect and kind of get him talking the way Tom Hanks wanted him to or whatever. And he had such respect for the kid that he says, no, this is exactly the way I'm going to learn how he's talking. I'm going to emulate him talking when Tom Hanks is narrating and doing all of that.
Okay.
So
that's
where it came from.
The actual actor had the kid actor
The kid, yeah.
had a speech impediment
Yeah,
or something?
Yeah.
So, let me get this straight. They're going to try to train a kid with a speech impediment over an adult without a... How the fuck does that make sense?
Well, I don't know. I don't know
Like-
what the goal was. He wanted the two of them to connect, and he liked the way the kid talked to him. He says, that's exactly the way I need to sound. And he learned his dialect
Good. That's the way...
from having conversations.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. 95 here. We have a 2-month ceasefire agreed by government of Sudan in its civil war to treat health conditions such as guinea worm and river blindness. It lasted 6 months, the longest ever health ceasefire. Good. Cool. 97, Martin Luther King's sons met James Earl Ray, his father's killer. Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, I would not want to meet my father's killer, because I'd probably kill him. 98, the Chicago Bulls Atlanta Hawks matchup at Georgia Dome in Atlanta drew a crowd of 62,046, the largest in any game in NBA history. Bulls went on to win 89-74. I wonder if it's still the largest crowd in
Well,
NBA
it could
history.
be unless they got to a venue bigger than that.
Yeah. Would you mind turning that light on over there, please? 98 as well, the Food and Drug Administration approved Viagra for use as a treatment for erectile dysfunction, the first pill to be approved for this condition in the United States. Well, I guess that gives a whole new term for you take the blue pill. You take the red pill, you take the blue pill. 99, Kosovo War, a U.S. Lockheed F-117A Nighthawk was shot down by a Yugoslav army SAM, the first and only Nighthawk to be lost in combat. Which, by the way, did you hear about the story, going back an article, about the guy who got a Viagra stuck in his neck? Like, you know, like it wouldn't go down?
No,
Yeah.
Here we go.
His neck was stiff forever. 2002, we have the Passover Massacre. A suicide bomber killed 29 people in Netanyahu, Israel, during a Passover Seder. That's awful. You know. And then we have another massacre at the same time, the Nanterre Massacre. In Nanterre, France, a gunman opened fire at the end of a town council meeting, resulting in the deaths of 8 councilors. 19 other people are injured. Wow.
Not the same year, though.
Same year, 2002.
Oh,
we
man.
have
Same
the
day,
Passover.
same year.
Yeah, one in Israel, or one in Palestine, you know, being occupied by Israel, and one in France. 2004, HMS Celia, a decommissioned Leander-class frigate, was sunk as an artificial reef off Cornwall, the first of its kind in Europe. All right.
I wonder if we can surf it.
Maybe. 2005, a TV medical drama, Grey's Anatomy, created by Shonda Rhimes, starring Ellen Pompeo and Sandra Oh, debuted on ABC. 2006, United Nations Commission on Human Rights held its final meeting before it was replaced by the Human Rights Council. 2012, on this day, launched its launched its sister site in Spanish, Hoy en la Historia. Okay, so this is when my primary source here, this website, launched a Spanish-speaking sister site for people to read all this in Espanol.
Okay, good.
Perfecto, you know?
Well, you ought to try it in Spanish one day.
No. 2013, 12 people
Hey,
were...
you do speak Spanish, no.
Sí. Mi hablo poquito español. Perdón. Oh. Mi amo es en el baño. Oh. Leche es en chocolate? 2013, 12 people were killed in the Philippines after a mini tornado caused a boat to capsize. Jeez. 2014, Philippines signed a peace accord with the largest Muslim rebel group, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, ending decades of conflict. Never negotiate with terrorists. Wipe them out. 2015, Russia's Soyuz TMA-16M launched to deliver 3 crew members to the International Space Station to research the long-term effects of microgravity. That's cool. 2016, a suicide bomb killed more than 70 people at a park in Lahore, Pakistan. Taliban-connected Jamaat-ul-Ahrar claimed responsibility. The target of the bombing were Christians celebrating Easter. So, of course, our primary source doesn't say that. I had to get that from the secondary source. Because the last thing the left wants to do is acknowledge that Christianity is actually being oppressed. 2019, British indie rock duo Hers, English guitarist singer Stephen Fitzpatrick, 24, and Norwegian bassist Adrian Ladding at 25, and U.S. manager Trevor Inglesrexen at 37 were killed in a car crash in Arizona. Horrible. 2019, Facebook banned white nationalism and white supremacy following criticism that Christchurch terrorist was able to live stream his attack. Despite them, you know, bringing all that down and all that stuff, they still allow black supremacy. They still allow, you know, Islam, you know,
So what
madness.
you're saying is they're political.
So, yeah, absolutely, they're political.
Yes.
2019, former president of the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, stole almost $1 billion from his country before his exile in 2017,
Wow.
according to a corruption report.
$1 billion.
Yeah, not this guy.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
Maybe you don't have a picture of that guy.
Not that guy.
That guy.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Wow, why does he look like a chef? Like,
He sure is smiling.
Yeah, and we know why. 2019, UK Prime Minister Theresa May promised to stand down if Parliament accepted her Brexit plan. That sounds like a hostage situation. 2019, U.S. Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller wrote a letter to U.S. Attorney William Barr regarding Barr's summary of the Mueller report, stating Barr's letter, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of the findings. There is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation. This threatens to undermine the central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel, to assure full public confidence in the outcome of the investigations, end quote.
No, they tore that thing apart. There was nothing in it.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect the whole procedure.
Yep. 2020, $2.2 trillion stimulus package, largest in U.S. history, was signed into law by President Donald Trump, saying, I never signed anything with a T on it. Well, not even your own name, Trump? It has a T. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced he has contracted COVID-19, but will continue to lead the country thanks to, or quote, thanks to the wizardry of modern technology, end quote, while in self-isolation. What a liar. What an absolute liar. They should skin him alive. So, North Macedonia became the 30th member of NATO in 2020, and I still believe that Macedonia belongs to Greece. 2021, Iran and China signed a major agreement guaranteeing Chinese investment of $400 billion in Iranian oil supply in return in Tehran. Yikes. 2022, 94th Academy Awards, Coda won Best Film. Best Director, Jane Campion. Best Actress, Jessica Chastain. Best Actor, Will Smith, who also controversially slapped host Chris Rock live on stage. Keep my wife's name out your damn mouth.
I haven't heard of the movie. I haven't heard of any of those people other than him.
Will Smith. Well, do you remember the whole when he slapped Chris Rock?
Yeah, I do.
And everything?
That's the only thing I knew about that. Oh, I didn't even remember what year it was. But that's the only thing I heard about it at all was, and I saw you see on the news, walks up and slaps him.
Yeah. 2022, China announced Shanghai will be locked down in 2 stages over 9 days, affecting 25 million people to carry out Kung Flu testing. Duke and Duchess of Cambridge ended an 8-day tour of Belize, Jamaica, and the Bahamas that highlighted issues of decolonization and calls for slave reparations. You want to end all this crap? Stop talking about it. Stop keeping it, alive. Not that difficult. El Salvador's parliament declared a state of emergency after 62 gang killings in 1 day. Go out and start killing all the gang members. 2023, at least 40 people were killed and 20 injured in a fire at migrant detention center in Ciudad Juarez on the Mexican-U.S. border amid large numbers of migrants gathering on the Mexican border. Sounds like they tried to start a little thing so people can, flee across the border while everybody's distracted by the fire. Some diversion technique. 2023, convicted struggle novelist faked his own death by pretending to set himself alight. In reality, he killed somebody else to escape from prison in South Africa, sparking a large manhunt. I hope they caught him. That's crazy. He killed somebody else and set him on fire. Yeah. That's a scene out of a movie. And remember this. And I want to highlight this because of the obvious bias. Where is it? Here we go. 2023. In the primary source, it says female, but remember they were a trans. Shooter killed 3 children and 3 adults at a private Christian school, Covenant Elementary in Nashville, Tennessee, before being shot and killed. 19th U.S. school shooting in 3 months. Well, the system really wants to push that gun control. So, and it's really interesting. They don't say it's trans.
Yeah.
They say it's female.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised that they didn't say it's male because they really wanted to paint men as a bad thing. 2023, Germany experienced one of its largest strikes in decades, bringing public transport comes to an almost complete halt amid calls for higher wages. That was written weirdly. Humza Yousaf, elected as leader of Scottish SNP party as first ethnic minority leader of a devolved government and the first Muslim to lead a major UK party. And how well is that working out for you, UK?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have kids and women just getting annihilated, by these certain people, So 2023, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a pause of key part of controversial plans to overhaul the justice system after massive protests in the country's largest trade union went on strike. Yeah, like the media isn't talking about this, but Israel really does not like Netanyahu. Like he's a psychopath.
Just like they don't like Trump.
Yeah, just like they don't like the Palestinians. 2023, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, we got that one. We also have possibility of bases on the moon became greater possibility after 300 billion tons of water stored in glass beads on moon surface identified in lunar soil samples collected by China's Tianji 5. Although it's China, so take that with a grain of salt. It's probably all
What
bullshit.
are they talking about now?
Beaded water, like apparently, like water is stored in glass beads on the moon's surface. That makes no sense. Like, how did it become glass? You need heat,
That's what I'm saying. I can't make heads or tails of it. Did they bring that up there with them? Brought water with them?
No. They're saying that there's a possibility of 300 billion, or like no. They say that they found 300 billion tons of water stored in glass beads. China is saying that, and knowing China, it's probably all a lie. We also have the world's oldest tartan confirmed as up to 500 years old after testing on material found 40 years earlier in Glen Affric Bog by experts at National Museums of Scotland. Yeah, Tartarians. This is the whole mud flood, the whole reset, rewriting history thing I've been talking about over the past, since I got the show started again this year and everything. 2024, Harvard University said it will remove a 19th century book binding of human skin originally taken without consent from a deceased French mental patient.
Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes.
2024, new analysis confirmed climate change, bullshit, is slowing the rotation of Earth due to melting ice caps and will probably delay the next leap second by 3 years. No, that's completely bullshit because time is going faster. The world is spinning faster. And like that doesn't make any sense. If the ice caps are melting, like that will not make the Earth go slower. It'll make it go faster because, there's a lie here. Something.
I don't know.
Like as soon as you say climate change, I know that you're lying. So
that's another topic. Whether it goes slower or faster, I have no idea.
Well, no, because the Earth is spinning.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not a sphere. It's an obloid or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, if the poles melt and all the water goes in the middle, you have more mass in the middle. You're gonna spin faster. Like when you see an ice skater, they have their arms out like this, they're spinning, and then you bring your mass in.
Fast, yeah.
Okay. Well, if the ice caps are melting, we're not going to go slower. We're going to go faster. So somewhere, there's a lie in here somewhere, guaranteed. I just don't know where, but I know it exists. 2025, European Space Telescope Gaia was shut down after a decade of charting the Milky Way and collecting data on nearly 2 billion stars and other celestial objects.
That's a shame.
Yeah. 2025, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy announced a major restructure of the U.S. Department of Health, including laying off 33% of its workforce, about 10,000 employees. No, you're just replacing them with AI. That's what
he's doing.
Well, no, that's what all of this. It's a little interesting because I've been thinking about this for a while, like the whole Doge thing, and them laying off all those employees. No, they're not laying them off because of that. They're replacing them with AI. Not a thing has changed. We have here, this is more like news and history, so I'm going to have to add this live on camera really quick. But we have 2026, former rapper Balin Shah was sworn in as Nepal's 40th prime minister after a landslide victory in the country's first election since youth protests in 2025. Okay, that's pretty cool there. And 2134, we have the 32nd predicted perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. So
you're going into the future.
Yes. So we went from a past to a present to a future show in the span of 3 articles. Pretty interesting. Anyway, that shall conclude the show for today. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things on the Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion between 2 sources. It is up to you to extend your, I haven't read this in a while. It's up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness, with a yearn to learn, to see outside what you think you know, to grow and find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. For your dose of Passive Insanely, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Please check the underbar, the description. For all of you and all of us, I'm Ayo Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, of course, you are you until you catch us next time, whenever it is, wherever it is. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Toodles! That's the thing.